Om. 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 When the rubber hits the road, that's our topic in this webinar 299, one short of 300 webinars under the banner of 4i Forum. And I must first explain what this topic means, what is meant by when the rubber meets the road. It's an analogy. A car may look very pretty, but whether the car runs well, whether it works well is known when we take the car out, the new car out, and the rubber, meaning the tires of the car, are actually on real roads, and then we know the car's performance. Likewise, in satsangs, the mind of you and me may feel very calm, very serene. Just this afternoon, somebody was telling me when he reads Vivekananda or some wonderful other teachers, he said, at times I really feel I am there. I am experiencing non duality. That's how I love such literature, he says. Or then he says, but after some time, we don't know what happens in real life situations. It depresses me to say I don't find myself even an iota better than how I was before. So, in this satsang, while reading a book, while participating in a webinar, while watching a very uplifting YouTube video of some saint, some wonderful speaker, that is all right. That's the laboratory test of the car. But the car going on real roads at different places, at different speeds, at different elevations, at different slopes, then we know whether the car is running well. Likewise, we may feel great during our studies, but later in real life scenarios, does Vedanta stand by us or does Vedanta let us down is the question. Therefore, in this webinar, I am going to touch upon the practicality of Vedanta. And right away, let me admit that in my opinion also, 999 out of 1,000 who study the Vedanta are not really able to live life in a different way. Their life continues the way it always was. Alas. But is it what you and I are saying? Lord Krishna himself said in the 7th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, he says, of thousands and thousands who try for perfection, one only sort of understands the task, has a certain degree of grip over the subject, and among those who have a certain degree of grip, among thousands and thousands of such people, there is again only one who reaches the level of divinity. Therefore, are all others to be simply dismissed, simply to be thrown by the roadside? In this session, we would like to say emphatically, no way. Not a little effort is wasted. Nothing goes waste. Sri Krishna answers that towards the end of the 6th chapter. If somebody has gone up to some point in one's sadhana, and then let us say one dies, Arjuna asks, what happens to such a person? And without batting an eyelid, Sri Krishna says, there is no destruction, there is no ruin, there is nothing like all effort wasted for such a person. In his next life, he picks it up and carries on. But why is it that someone who has spent 10 years, 20 years, 30 years in Vedanta study hasn't changed? These 10, 20, or 30 years is peanuts before or in front of, in comparison with thousands of years for which this individual living entity has been on the path. In Sanatana Dharma, our rishis discovered long back there were lives, and presently this is one of our lives, and there will be future lives too. Many lives for every Jivatma, and what seems to be a lot of investment. I've been studying Vedanta for 12 years now, if you say. Your habits were formed over 12 lives. Your weaknesses got strengthened, reinforced over 20 lives. What has been with you for a very long time cannot go by a bit of study, a bit of practice. In fact, most of you will concede or confess that you haven't done much to say about practice too. You have heard lectures and enjoyed, then you hardly practiced. Those who practice are very few, really. So, why is all this? The issue is we enjoy the concept, we enjoy the logic of spirituality, but our old tendencies come in the way. Therefore, consciously, we must train ourselves. Rome was not built in a day, goes the old saying. Om is not realized over a single day, we would say in the spiritual context. It took years and years, painstaking efforts to build Rome, the great city of olden days. Similarly, it takes painstaking efforts. Sri Krishna uses the expression prayatnad yatamanasya. Yatamana itself means putting in efforts. Prayatnad means with great effort. Oh, a hasty translation would be somebody who puts in great effort, I tell you, with great effort. That's not a graceful translation. When two words are used, more or less implying or meaning the same, prayatna vyatamanasya, what is meant is one is putting in a lot of sincere effort. There is a level in our evolution, let's admit, where things don't materialize just like that. We need to train ourselves to live rightly. Call it self persuasion or use of willpower, call it as you may like, but please know that it is possible for us to take little decisions and implement them. If we don't decide at all, alas, nothing has begun. In the light of studies, we decide to change our ways in the three spheres of action, word, and thought. Kayena vacha manasa. If we take certain decisions, I will here onwards not do these things. I'll here onwards do these things. You took some decisions, and that's a good beginning, but if you do not go by your decisions, it's like the girl who sets the alarm for 5:30 a.m. and 1 minute before 5:30 a.m. she opens her eyes and turns off the alarm clock and goes to bed. She doesn't let the alarm clock ring at all. Some biological clock inside us, inside her, wakes up, wakes her up at 5:29 to turn that alarm off, and with a mischievous smile probably on her face, goes to bed. So we decide, but we do not implement. We resolve, and then it dissolves. But it can't go on forever like that. And life is not going to keep quiet if we do this. Life teaches us lessons, harder lessons, bitter lessons, until we kneel down before the laws of life. We think we can break the laws of life, but we break ourselves against the laws of life. In the light of it, we must once more commit ourselves not to some mad, meaningless practices, unrealistic, illogical, but well chosen, well designed practices which are within our reach. Yes, this I can do. If not in thought, if not in word, at least in action, I will avoid certain things which have been detrimental to my own peaceful inner being. So one decides, start small, grow big. Therefore, friends, this challenge of when the rubber meets the road has been a hard challenge in the first place because we either don't decide at all to make little changes in our way of living, or we decide but do not go by the decision. Sri Ramakrishna used to share a humorous story. A certain young son of a mother lived in the big city of Kolkata, and he really was fond of his mother, and his mother lived 50 miles, 75 miles away from the city in a little village, and certain things that she would need week after week were either not available in her small town or were a bit expensive. The middle agents would take their commission, you see. In the city of Kolkata, those little stuff were much cheaper. So on one Monday after the son left home to go to this city, she posted a postcard in those good old days. By Wednesday or Thursday, it reached the hands of the son, and the son saw the postcard. The mother had said, "My dear son, when you come next time, weekend," or he was visiting probably in once a fortnight. "When you come home to our village next time, bring these items, small quantities for my kitchen, so that I can give you also a more delicious food." And when he gets the card, Ramakrishna's humor comes in there. He says, "A card, a postcard. My mother has written a postcard to me. What a great thing." He dances in joy, holding the postcard in his hand. "My mother has written a postcard to me. Ha ha, oh ho," and so on. And he places it at the little altar of Mother Kali, which he has in one corner of his little rented place in Kolkata. So happy that the mother asked him to get a few things. Why not? It will be my joy. You raised me after giving birth to me. You made me a big young man who is earning now with a job, standing on his own feet. I will bring anything for you. These are peanuts. All that he says. But come Saturday, he completely forgets to go to the market, buy those things, and pack them along with his other stuff in the bag. He reaches home, and when the mother asks him, "Did you bring those items?" He says, "Oh, oh, he didn't." Sorry to say, we fail in the test of the rubber meeting the road because we either do not decide or having decided, we forget. But all this is not to pour cold water on our enthusiasm. It is not to give us a very negative picture of all spiritual practices. The simple advice here is try again. I failed 100 times. So what? Try now 101st time. So we are especially talking in the context of Vedanta. Vedanta primarily means Upanishads. In Upanishads, there are many imperatives. Recently, we brought out a little booklet that we gave as prasad in one of our retreats of Powai Forum. And that little booklet had short articles on 6 imperatives given in the Upanishads. Vedanta, in its essential job, is not a literature of imperatives. Its unique and essential job is to reveal the truth, and by understanding the truth, you are liberated. The main job of the Upanishads is to help you see the truth. Truth of what? Truth of your own existence, the truth of the entire creation, the truth of God, Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara. The truth of all these three is to be seen. Presently, you have a very, very distorted picture, or you have no idea at all. What is Jiva? What is Jagat? What is Ishvara? God knows, you would say. But through proper study of the Upanishads, the truth is revealed. To reveal the truth so that you may see it is the main job of Upanishads. But one notch below, the Upanishads do have instructions of the nature of do this and don't do that. And overwhelming majority of us relate with that kind of statements found in the Upanishads. For whether you like it or not, we are all caught in the realm of doing. We are caught in the realm of karma. That karma comes from kama. That kama comes from avidya. Avidya, spiritual ignorance. Before we realize what is happening, appears as kama, desire for varieties of enjoyments. And before we realize what is happening, that kama becomes karma. We find ourselves running in some direction, chasing some enjoyment. Sometimes we may be chasing some possession. But what is that possession meant for? To eventually to enjoy. One may say, I'm rushing to the government to fill up some application, and that application, if all goes well, will get me a flat in a coveted area of the city. There is a lottery where certain people will be given, and I may be the lucky winner. So, running to the government office or whichever office to submit that app, I did not even take proper breakfast. And my wife said, there is some ice cream. I don't need ice cream. So I'm not after pleasure. I gave up so many pleasures. I am after a certain possession. I want a flat in my own name. I want to be an owner of an apartment. Oh, I see. So what will you do when you get the apartment? You get your own flat? Well, if I get my own flat, and oh, I'll be so happy, and sitting in my own flat on a sofa with one leg on another, with ice cream in hand, I will watch television programs with the pride of I am finally sitting in my own house, not in rented house. Oh, finally you are seeking pleasure, seeking enjoyment. So karma, and do not feel bad. A vast number of Veda mantras guide us on karma only. In fact, all Vedas are divided into two parts, Veda Purva, Vedanta. Veda Purva is all about doing, doing, and doing, not about seeing. Therefore, Jaimini, who wrote sutras on Veda Purva, on Purva Mimamsa as they call it, on the ritualistic portions of the Vedas, gives out a sutra. Like Vyasa wrote Brahma Sutras, Jaimini wrote these Dharma Sutras. And in his Dharma Sutras, he writes, Amnayasya Kriyartatva. Any Vedic mantra, any 100%. That's what that sutra says. Any Vedic mantra is meant for Kriya, for doing something. If a mantra is not leading you to do something, what a waste it is. All this is to do something. Just as students of schools and colleges who have been told it's all about your career, getting a good job, you're getting a lot of income as you get older. They think that all study is meant for a career, for a job, for earning. Whereas those who know what education is know that education is for a larger purpose. To get a job is okay, part of the whole thing. But more important than getting a job, not that we are neglecting it, education should make every girl or boy a good human being, a good citizen. She or he should handle her or his life challenges in an able manner. So, Jaimini says at his loudest voice, Amnayasya Kriyartatva. And please do not undervalue Karma Kanda, Veda Purva. Veda Purva also has a lot of valuable teachings for humankind. Now we are trying to focus on Upanishads. Upanishads also have teachings which prompt us to do. That is where, if we follow those teachings, in our case, there is good success when the rubber meets the road. One of them is Satyam Vada. That is not a revelation, it is an action oriented statement. Therefore, we call it an imperative. Satyam Vada, Asatyam Mavada, Dharman Chara, Adharmam Machara, and so on. So, have we been putting in conscious effort to keep away lies and to be with truth? If we have been putting in whatever little effort, sincere effort in that direction, then there takes place certain change in us which helps then meet the road, which helps the rubber meet the road in an excellent manner. The Upanishads, while Satyam Vada is from Taittiriya Upanishad, in Kathopanishad we have a statement, constantly educate your intellect about what is right and what is wrong. Train your buddhi, inform your buddhi. For ignorance is no excuse before law. Don't touch a live electric wire, and when you get shocked, don't say, I did not know. Eh? You are 38-year-old, and even now you do not know that a wire hanging like that, the copper exposed, the insulating cover not seen, could be carrying high voltage and could give you a shock. You don't know what prevented you through the 38 years of your life from knowing the basics of electricity. In every house, in every workplace, there is electricity. What happened to you? Why did you not? Inform yourself, educate yourself about the danger of electric wires. Now that is an analogy. Kathopanishad says, Buddhim tu sarathim vidhi. Know buddhi, your intellect, to be the driver of your chariot. And if your buddhi is not properly informed, not properly educated, then your journey can be meeting with an accident. Therefore, you might have spent years and years learning certain subjects which prepare or which help you get a job. But did you spend time in some reading, some satsanga, in some sessions where somebody discussed how human character can suffer? If wealth is lost, nothing is lost, goes an old saying. If health is lost, something is lost. If character is lost, everything is lost. You may also know that statement, but have you pondered that statement? Have you sincerely reflected on it and seen cases around you among people older to you who, because they took character for granted, they did wrong things, unethical, immoral, unrighteous things, they came to suffer eventually. And therefore, character is more important than health. Health is more important than wealth. But we generally give so much importance to wealth and take for granted. If we have wealth, I think we will be able to keep up good health if our character also will be good. How do you take it for granted? Therefore, buddhim to sarathim vidhi. So what I am discussing now is there are teachings which need to be reflected upon. Don't shrug and say, I used to attend all these spiritual classes, and of late I have not been, but I have heard enough, I have read enough. I, so many Gita, Jnana Yajnas I have attended, and I organized also. But what are you doing last few years? Last few years I am not doing any reading because I have read enough. You have read enough, but do you remember any? All forgotten. And same Upanishadic law. To give one more example, Mundaka Upanishad says, do you notice in your daily life how much time you spend on talking about things which are none of your business? Rather than just getting the high headlines, you go into a lot of details of politics, of certain social issues. Many a time it's a good escape for you from doing certain things which are your duty. And you talk about those issues, those topics with friends. You gossip. Mundaka Upanishad says, Anya vacho vimunchata. Living in the society as an active member, you may not be able to completely, keep away from discussing issues of the society, of the country, etc. But Mundaka Upanishad expects you to be very careful, not to get carried away by those spicy news. Some very senior actor was in the hospital, and some days ago there was a news that he died, and everybody started talking about it, only to find later that that was false news. Then one more day, and one more day. But day after day, people who were attached to gossip talked about the death of that gentleman. Now, even if certain things are true, a sense of how much time and energy we must give to worldly discussions should be kept alive. And similarly, using the word tapas, Upanishad says, if you develop tapas in you, and tapas over there is aikagryam, learn to do things with attention, with involvement, without letting the mind scatter in different directions. Tasyai tapodama karmeti pratishta. There is a mantra. And one last example of how instructions are given, and we must double check whether we are practicing or following those instructions. Chandogya Upanishad asks us to eat sattvic food in moderate quantity. That is implied in the statement Ahara Shuddhau Sattva Shuddhihi. Don't say my mind wanders a lot, my mind gets vulgar thoughts, my mind gets very, very negative thoughts. Oh, some old, sad, bad memories pull me down and whole day I'm not in good mood. Well, you know why all that is happening? Because you don't do even 5 or 10 minutes of a healthy exercise like japa. For 10 minutes, train yourself. Say Om Namah Shivaya while breathing in, and mentally say Om while breathing out. Don't say this is boring, this is monotonous. Don't say all that. Do it for 10 minutes and see. That is tapas. If you train your mind to stay focused on a well chosen activity or action, that can clear you from so many impurities. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, etc. Vulgar thoughts, debilitating thoughts. Therefore, when the rubber meets the road, if you find that there is no difference in you, in olden days also you failed and now also you fail. Olden days also, you you felt low about yourself. Now also you feel low about yourself. It is because the writing on the wall is not followed by you, not taken note of. It's said in the loudest possible voice, Satyam vada, dharmam chara, ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhihi, buddhim tu saratim vidhi, anya vacho vimunchata, magridah kasya svidhanam, tasyai tapodama karmeti pratishta, satyamayatanam, veda sarvangani. These are all statements which ask us to do a few things. Nobody is asking us to just do what is said in the Vedas for 24 hours. A little anushtana, and in and through worldly actions, discharging responsibilities, a little of remembering how spiritual science wanted you to do. Now you may say, but if you look around, a lot of people who are quote and unquote spiritual are almost a burden on the society. They don't do anything, they are a burden. And many people who do wondrous things and what they achieve blesses the society, is of great use to many people. They are hardly into spirituality. Somebody once said, India they talk Vedanta, in Japan they live Vedanta. That is not fully true, but a certain element of truth is in that statement. The work ethics of the Japanese people is regarded as one of the best. For example, it is said that factory workers in Japan, in order to protest against maybe some low wages, rather than not working for days on end, going on a stir or on a strike, it seems they put a black badge on their chest and they work half an hour more every day. What a way to protest! Instead of skipping work and sitting in small groups and gossiping, they come well in time and they work half an hour more. Such instances have been recorded in Japan's society. I myself was waiting for a bullet train. Which station was that? I think it was Osaka. I went only once to Japan, but I was there, and then in front of me, a few Japanese young men opened some Coke or Pepsi. They were laughing, they were joking. I didn't understand they were talking in Japanese. But when they opened some what you call the can, having Pepsi or something, the fizz came out, and the foam came out and fell on a, a what you call a dustbin or a trash can which has a lid, which has a very shining steel trash can with a lid, and the foam or that liquid fell on the lid. That lid did not look anymore very clean or pretty. Coke on it. I looked at with my bag in hand. I was at a distance. I looked at and I thought, well, so such things happen here also. Now the train will come in 2 minutes, and these people and I, all of us, will get into the train and go. Who and when anybody will clean this top surface of the trash can, dust box, dustbin? Nobody will. I think somebody may do it afterwards. And those men were laughing. I saw them laughing. But in and through their laughing, one of them took out from his pocket tissue paper. From his own pocket, he took out some tissue paper and continuing to laugh and crack some joke, he cleaned the top surface of that trash can and then took that piece of tissue and put it inside the trash can. Now the surface of the trash can was shining more than how it was before the Pepsi. A few milliliters of Pepsi fell on it. I said, yes, what I have read over the years is true. So someone says, they live Vedanta and you people talk Vedanta. But I would say it is not fully true. In our country too, there are a number of such people who have changed themselves. I'm coming to that point now. We may meet people who apparently have not changed, but once in a while we do meet. Many have changed their ways, but that so-called many, maybe 1% of the whole society. What does change mean? How they treat others, how they spend their own day, how they spend time in certain exercises that improve their inner strength, character, and so on. There are many amidst us who, not much noticed by people, are actually doing things for the society, and for themselves. Many get up early. Many start their day with asana, pranayama. Many actually go the extra mile to make somebody's life easier. Many are very duty conscious. And all of them are touched somewhere by some examples, and a certain percentage of them changed after coming into touch with Gita, with Upanishads, and so on, with spiritual literature. For when you study science or mathematics, it is not part of the syllabus to say speak truth. When you study economics or history, there is no instruction to you to stop wrong things. But when you read Upanishads, in Kathopanishad, for example, Lord Yama says very strongly, unless you say goodbye to immoral ways, adharmic ways, don't have any hope for self-realization. Na virato duscharitat, na shanto, na samahitaha, na shanta manaso vapi, prajnane nainam apnuyat. Take just the part, na avirataha duscharitat. From bad conduct in your public life or in your private life, you find out. If you don't withdraw from bad conduct, then you will never come upon the peace of spiritual realization. And there are some who, if not at the first instance, by and by, they realize, I can't fool either others or myself for too long. I am going to change. I am going to change my priorities. Therefore, many have invested in developing their soul power, while in the years that are gone by, they were investing time in money power. They were investing in getting status, getting some better image in the eyes of others. But thanks to the satsangas they attend, thanks to the study of Gita or Upanishads they take up, these people, maybe a small percentage, but they apply themselves to the spiritual wisdom and they change. Their soul power rises. And towards the evening of their life, when they get old, when things go wrong around them, they are able to take those disturbances in their stride. They are able to act in win-win ways. They are able to act in ways where rather than adding fuel to the fire, they bring about some harmony. Where if there is a conflict between others and them, they are the people who try to find a way in which both sides win. That's called win-win scenario. They find win-win solutions. Therefore, all this sharing, let me come to the close of this presentation or submission from me. All this sharing is to appeal to every one of you. The science is not wrong. Adhyatma Vidya is neither wrong nor inadequate. Adhyatma Vidya, spiritual science, has guidance available to us, and if we follow this guidance, we are sure to, if not immediately, in due course of time, we are sure to be victorious in this journey of inner perfection, ending of our own misconceived ego. Thus, when the rubber meets the road, success is guaranteed, provided we make the necessary preparation. Be less bookish, be less given to just saying, oh, we have all heard everything. Ask how you spent the last 24 hours. Ask yourself how you are going to spend the next 24 hours. In the last 24 hours, did you just repeat the mistakes that you have been doing from childhood? Or was there a difference? In the coming 24 hours, are you going to do a couple of things, if not many? Are you going to do a couple of things which your heart values a lot? Do you give priority to them? Do you meditate, for example, a little in the morning? Or as soon as you freshen up, you sit with some newspaper or news channel and strong tea in your hand, etc. What do you put first? Do you read newspaper after some prayers? Do you take your tea after a little of asana or pranayama? Which is the value that you have, for example, cherished? Do you go by your cherished value? If you have gone by cherished values, you will be an excellent car running beautifully on the roads. When the rubber meets the roads, the story is one of success. The necessary preparation over days and days, weeks and weeks, over years and years. The necessary preparation is a must. It should not be a matter of just talking. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yes, Jagan wants to say something.
Actually, Swamiji, I'm more silenced
Oh,
after hearing what Swamiji has said today, because
oh,
uh, because it's very eye opening for me, Swamiji. Because most important is, as they say, an ounce of practice
correct.
is so. That is my takeaway, Swamiji, and
An
thank you
ounce
so
of
much.
practice is better than, what do they say?
I think litters.
Tons of theory,
Tons
something
of
like that.
you. Yes,
Yeah. An ounce
because
of practice is better than tons of theory. And we memorized such quotations, wrote in examinations,
yes,
and
Swami.
passed.
Yes, Swami. Yes, Swami. Yes, Swami.
That is how, that has been our mistake.
Yes, Swami.
Better 2025, November 16 is a very good day to actually practice rather than quote it. All of us.
Perfect. Perfect, Swami. Perfect. Perfect. And
Thank
I'm
you
just,
for,
yes, Swami. I'm just reminded of that story that happens in Mahabharata when Yudhishthira was asked to practice something as against others, what they learned, that very famous story. So I'm deeply inspired, Swami. Thank you very much
welcome,
for all the beautiful pointers, Swami. Thank you, Swami.
welcome,
Pranam, Swami.
welcome.
Thank you, Swami.
Okay, next one to say something or ask something. All right. Let me see. Has anybody raised her hand or anything in the chat box? Not yet. Someone may express a doubt.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Okay, Sucheta ji from California.
Yes, Swamiji, I always have this in the mind that all these lectures are attending this is mainly, you're right, then inner growth is, I can probably, I mean, one has to find themselves, the inner growth, but we have a duty towards the society. Of course, everybody is taking care of their family. That is being done, whether they attend the lectures or they don't attend the lectures. But I feel that there is duty towards the society and the group or the neighbors, or that is lacking when they are attending the lectures. They are focusing all their time in attending lots of lectures. They don't have time for these things. I feel that, I don't know, when we were growing up in even in the village, even if they don't know the Gita, or they don't know the Sanskrit, their main focus is towards the society, the village, taking being. I mean, they want to take care of everybody there, even if they're sick, not having money or anything. I don't see that here, where people are attending, and they spend a lot of the time for their own enjoyment, still traveling, attending parties. Or so I don't know where is this. I mean, it bothers me that I should not be bothered, but
No,
yeah.
it's natural, it bothers you. Yeah, many times some introspection makes us think, are we so engrossed in our family and us, and are we neglecting our social responsibility? So that introspection is in place, and nowadays we see there also some members rise to the occasion. They try to do something. That number may be very small. Yeah, social responsibility, working for the society, has to be integrated with caring for our own family. Yes. Therefore, Vivekananda gave that call, Atmano Mokshaya Jagadhitaya Cha. And Ramakrishna Mission Swamis always set a wonderful example. Lot of social service, lot of adopting villages, providing education, medical care. Ramakrishna Mission and all spiritual organizations have some such activities, some very little, some a little more. But in the context of the question that you have asked, I would compliment Ramakrishna Mission. I personally know certain rural service activities around all big cities.
Yes, I am aware of that. But what I'm talking about is, if you look at people around you, like senior citizens around you,
Ah,
or people having health. When you look at, I know a few people, old people, they're just alone. They can, all of us like can spend 1 hour per month at least
yeah,
with them. People who are attending the lectures, I am talking about the other ones. So I don't know that. Yeah, big missions and then fundraising and all that I'm aware. But when it comes to the
mm,
society close to you or whatever, yeah, especially senior citizens.
right. Yeah, we must share these thoughts with more and more people. And if we know some positive examples, we must let others know. See, a couple of years ago, some IT professional called Sridhar Vembu, he was somewhere in USA. He wound up everything, came back to Tamil Nadu, his home state, and rather than settling in a wonderful palatial house in Chennai, he is in some small town, small village in Tamil Nadu. He runs this Zoho company, and recently he was in news. He created an alternative to WhatsApp. I don't know how far it has come now. But other than that, the best part of him, I am inspired by him. Sridhar Vembu, he left USA, he left even Bangalore or Hyderabad or Chennai, city life. Chennai goes on a bicycle. He has given work, job to a large number of girls and boys of villages, given them essential training to work, I guess, in some factories or computer oriented company. So his care, his concern for empowering the underprivileged, irrespective of caste, creed, gender, etc., is really wonderful. And in recent times, the central government in India has given Padma Shri to so many men and women. Yesterday, one lady died, Salu Marada Timmakka or somebody, which means in Kannada that lady's name is Timmakka. And she, how many thousands? Some 80,000 or so, some such huge number of trees she planted and ensured that they all grew well in certain cluster of villages, I guess. So now we have not heard about her. But Modi government called her to Delhi, gave her Padma Shri. Then everybody came, who is this? The lady called Timaka, known for trees in rows. Salumara means trees in rows. Yesterday she died and she was in news. There was quietly she was doing her work. Yes, we take your point seriously. We must improve our own awareness and generate awareness in others. Any last
Thank you
comment
so
or
much.
question? Welcome. Here, chat box, there are some greetings. Jagan has said, another great person is Dr. Venkatappa Govinda Swami of Arvind Eye Care. Yeah, you had talked about it when we met some time back. Arvind Eye Care went to places, so affordable ophthalmic eye care, etc. Arvind hospitals are an amazing story. Great story. Yes. In medical and education field, some have done, and more such work should take place. One Pandeyji has said, your discourse reminds me of self-reflection and what we can do for people in need around us. Will that also be considered meditation for spiritual? Yes. Serving others is also a form of meditation. What is that? There is a famous statement. The hands that serve are holier than the lips that pray. So there is spirituality in that, but that should not undermine or that's not to say the regular prayers are of no use. Each has one's own path, different paths. We must actually look within, in the name of spirituality, Vedanta, or whatever it is, have we become insensitive to real problems around us, socially or in our family or in our own personal life? Quoting high statements from, let's say, Sanskrit texts, but in our own personal life, suppose there are some unpardonable compromises, then we better take action. So insensitivity, there is secret insensitivity that comes in the way of materializing all the spiritual study. And we must ourselves double check. Neither condemning ourselves nor whitewashing or justifying ourselves. We must gently see, there is one area where I have to change. Let me go in that direction. In this way, do whatever is needed to change in that regard. All right, I noticed that all of you took interest and listened and took part with a lot of attention. That's wonderful. We'll close this session now for tonight. 2 weeks from now, Dr. Timappa Hegde will talk on a very interesting topic. What is that? The topic is interesting. You have arrived or you have, I'll tell you. Today only I sent him a message that please know we have announced this. Yeah, his topic is interesting. You have landed, but have you arrived? I don't know what he will open up. He is a Vedanta teacher, a wonderful teacher. So how he will expand on this, I am myself curious. You have landed, but have you arrived? So I'm sure you will have an interesting webinar by Dr. Timappa Hegde, who is a very senior neurosurgeon in Bangalore, working with Narayana Hridayalaya, but also a passionate, committed Vedanta teacher. So listen to Dr. Timappa Hegde on 30th November. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namah.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you,
Hari Om
Swamiji.
to
Pranam,
everybody.
Swamiji. Hari Om, Swamiji.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you, Vipaji. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om.